What's going on, Dodgers Nation? Doug McCain here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. Should the Dodgers trade for Pittsburgh Pirates outfielder Bryan Reynolds? Can they trade for him? Will the Pirates make him available? We're going to dive into that in just a second. But quick reminder for all latest Dodgers news and rumors all off-season long. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And if you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. And as always, I want your takes down below in the comment section. Today's Dodgers Nation question of the day. Do you want to see the Dodgers trade for Bryan Reynolds? What kind of package would you offer? Let me know down below. And for all the latest Dodgers news, head over to DodgersNation.com. So one of the biggest needs for the Dodgers this offseason is they need to add another impact outfielder. And we know that last season they had Cody Bellinger in center field. They have to fill that void. We talked about some internal options they could explore with Trayce Thompson, Chris Taylor, even Mookie Betts could play some center field in a pinch. I don't like the idea of that. I'd rather keep Mookie Betts in right field where he can stay healthy. He's a proven Gold Glove award-winning right fielder. And there is a big name out there that could be available on the trade market, and that is Pittsburgh Pirates center fielder Bryan Reynolds. Now, the first big question is Bryan Reynolds available? Well, we learned last week that he had requested a trade from the Pittsburgh Pirates, but the Pirates were not willing to acquiesce. They did not want to trade Reynolds. Well, yesterday, the Athletics' Ken Rosenthal, he wrote that yes, the Pirates are willing to entertain moving center fielder Bryan Reynolds, if only because clubs are almost always willing to listen to trade offers. Teams interested in Reynolds, however, say the price tag is similar to what it was in the past, exceedingly high. One rival official, in what surely was an exaggeration, said the Pirates want a Soto-type package for Reynolds. Another said Reynolds is super expensive. A third described him as unlikely to move. So first and foremost, let's break out that Dodgers rumor meter. And for this rumor that has the Pirates listening to offers for Bryan Reynolds, I'm going to give this one a 3 Dodger dogs. I definitely think there is some serious smoke here. The only question is, when will the price go down? Because like I told you over the weekend, anytime a team like the Pittsburgh Pirates, I call them the penny pinching Pirates, anytime they say someone is not going to be traded, that they're not going to deal Bryan Reynolds, well, what that's code for is, hey, give us your best trade offer. What is your Godfather offer for Reynolds? Because at the right price, everyone is available. And Bryan Reynolds is a player that the Pittsburgh Pirates absolutely should strongly consider moving, because after his 2021 season, where he was fantastic, he posted a 912 OPS, a 385 WOBA, and a 142 WRC plus. Well, that's when his value was at its peak. But last season, he definitely got off to a slow start. There were some reasons behind that. He had a very low BABIP, a 254 BABIP to start the season. You saw the line drives go down, the ground ball rate was up. So he figured some things out and still was able to be the most productive hitter for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He had a 3-WAR season, hit 27 home runs, 62 RBI, an 806 OPS, a 125 WRC plus, so his bat was 25% higher than league average. His F4 WAR was down slightly at 2.9 compared to Baseball Reference, but really, when it comes to his WAR, it's dragged down by his defense. His defense has absolutely taken a hit, and the thing when you watch Bryan Reynolds is he doesn't make any catastrophic mistakes. So it kind of hides the fact that, yeah, he's not a great or elite center fielder, but that is a very cavernous outfield at PNC Park, and he did an adequate job for the most part. But I think ideally Bryan Reynolds is a corner outfielder, but hey, when it comes to center field and the Dodgers options, Reynolds is a guy that you could have in that position and he could get the job done. You don't trade for Bryan Reynolds for his defense, you trade for him for what he can do at the plate, and he could absolutely rake. He's also extremely durable. In 2021, he played 159 games, made 646 plate appearances, hit 24 home runs. We talked about his season, his all-star season in 21, and if you can get that version of Bryan Reynolds, then great. But what he is, if you look at his floor and you look at his ceiling, he is a guy that's going to hit you between 20 and 30 home runs, hit around 280 to 300. His strikeout rate definitely was up last season, had a 23% strikeout strikeout rate up from 18.4% in 2021. The walk rate was up in 21 at 11.6%. That dropped down to 9.1%. So he's a guy that definitely strikes out, but he can hit for power. He can get on base. He doesn't rely on hard contact to get all of his hits. He's a guy that can absolutely help this Dodgers offense and provide some lumber in the outfield. And that's definitely something that they were lacking last season. Now let's rewind a little bit though and take a look at his contract status. So coming off that 2021 season where he posted a 5.5 F4 where he was tied for ninth in all of Major League Baseball with Brandon Crawford, the Pirates signed Reynolds to a 2-year $13.5 million deal that paid him $6.75 million for 2 years. The 2-year contract bought out Reynolds' first 2 years of arbitration eligibility as he had reached Super 2 status. After the deal is up, he's still going to be under team control for 2024 and for 2025. So if any team traded for Bryan Reynolds this offseason, they'd be getting him for the next 3 years. And then after next season, then he would be back into arbitration and he would make around $14 million. So it's very unlikely that the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to want to pay him at that point. And he has been offered multiple extensions by the Pirates, and they clearly haven't gotten close to his number. And when you consider the fact that Brandon Nimmo just signed an 8-year, $162 million deal with the Mets, well, Bryan Reynolds is going to get paid. I just don't expect the Pirates to get anywhere near the contract that he's looking for and the kind of money that he's going to command. So if I'm Pirates GM Ben Cherington, I think he's not doing his job unless he's listening to trade offers for Bryan Reynolds. And if it's true they want a Juan Soto type package, well, that's just not going to happen, because for Juan Soto, the Nationals, they got CJ Abrams, they got Mackenzie Gore, they got their number 1, 2, 4, and 10 prospects in the deal. Of course, it also included Josh Bell. He was a rental bat, but really was about Juan Soto for 2.5 years of team control. So that would be like the Dodgers trading away Diego Cartaya, Bobby Miller, Michael Busch, and Eddie Leonard. And we just know that's not going to happen for Bryan Reynolds. If it was for Juan Soto for 3 years, I absolutely could see the Dodgers considering doing that, but they're not going to do that for Reynolds. So what has to happen is the price has to come down for the Dodgers to even consider making that move. But maybe the Pirates, they come down to earth and they realize they're not going to get these absolute ridiculous offers that they're looking for, and maybe they would consider a deal that surrounds a Michael Busch or an Andy Pages or a Ryan Pepiot and prospects like that, but you don't give up some of the guys that we know the Dodgers have no interest in parting ways with. Guys like Diego Cartaya and Bobby Miller and Miguel Vargas and those types, the Gavin Stone. So maybe it could make some sense, and the fact that he is under team control for the next 3 seasons makes it very interesting, because you could put him in your outfield. He's a guy that I think moves to the corner outfield spot at some point, maybe even left field. And I think at the right price, I would like the deal if I'm the Dodgers, but it just appears right now that there is also going to be a lot of competition. The Yankees, the Marlins, they're in hot pursuit of Reynolds. They've been active in trying to get him on their teams for quite some time now, so the Dodgers will have some competition. But if you wait into the season and he struggles a little bit early on like he did last year, and maybe his value starts to dip, maybe you can get him for a better price. But the Dodgers absolutely need another trusted outfielder. We know they went after Kevin Kiermaier. He ends up signing with the Toronto Blue Jays. You've got Mitch Haniger, who was a name that the Dodgers were linked to. And then, of course, there's Andrew Benintendi, who I'm not the biggest fan of when it comes to that signing, when you consider the fact that he'll likely sign a 4 or 5 year deal. He's a guy that does not hit for power. His bat-to-ball skills, they are tremendous. He will hit for average, but there's also another name out there. How about an Ian Happ that was almost moved last season? He's under 1 more year of team control. Maybe the Dodgers could go after Ian Happ. And there's something else to consider as well. Now, yesterday, John Heyman, he reported that the Dodgers are a possibility for Dansby Swanson. And while I'm not in love with the idea of signing Swanson, if you would get him to a AAV around $25 million on an 8-year contract and you solidify that shortstop position defensively, well, it does open up the possibility to trade some of these younger prospects and some of these young Dodger players for some win-now proven talent. So that definitely would be one of the pros of signing a Dansby Swanson, is that you have your shortstop of the future defensively. And I've done a complete breakdown of Swanson, but if you look at him as a player, for his career, he has been in a below-average bat. He's posted a 94 career WRC+. And one thing I don't love as well is that pretty much 40% of his career WAR was earned last season with the Atlanta Braves. Had a 6.4 F WAR last year, so he really has been inconsistent at the plate, does strike out quite a bit. He does hit the ball hard, which I do like, and hopefully it just clicked for him last season. The light really turned on for him at the plate, and maybe he would continue that for the next 3 or 4 years. You also make Freddie Freeman happy. Mookie Betts is a guy that you want to maximize the championship window with Mookie Betts, and bringing on a Dansby Swanson would definitely help in that effort if you're not going to get a Carlos Correa. But Bryan Reynolds is the guy to keep your eye on. Remember that name. Maybe the Dodgers get involved if the Pirates look to trade him, and I think they absolutely should. They're a few years away from contending. If I'm the Pittsburgh Pirates, I'm looking for some AAA arms. I'm looking for some young guys you can build around because, look, they are a poverty franchise. They're the poverty Pirates, and they just don't pay their guys, and that's the only way they can contend is if you have a steady stream, a steady pipeline of young talent that's coming up and able to contribute. You can take advantage of those young team control years earlier in that career where you can actually afford those guys. But Bryan Reynolds, he's going to be on the move. It's just a matter of time. And at the right price, I would love to see the Dodgers trade for Bryan Reynolds. He can hit for power. He can hit for average. He's a switch hitter. If you look at the outfield position right now, the Dodgers need some more production. They need some more power. And the bottom line is that Reynolds rakes. He's a guy that when he's right, he's one of the better hitters in the league. If you look at defensively, he definitely had a bad year last year by his standards, but I think he can have a bounce back year. He did a really nice job covering that cavernous outfield at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. He has one of the better outfield arms in the league, has that glove range. I think you could move him to one of the corner outfield spots at some point, but the Dodgers, they need an outfielder, and he's an all-star outfielder. He is a proven commodity in the prime of his career, and as long as you're not gutting your farm system, I love the idea of bringing in a Bryan Reynolds. But let me know down below in the comment section, do you want to see the Dodgers trade for Bryan Reynolds? What would you be willing to give up? What kind of package would you offer? Let me know down below. Also, hey, might as well go crazy, do a little blockbuster deal and get them to throw in Bednar in the deal if they want some other prospects. So I definitely like the idea of poaching the Pirates and maximizing this championship window with a Bryan Reynolds, and I like the idea of bringing him in versus signing any of the other remaining guys available if they're not going to make any other impact signings. But let me know down below. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. For all latest Dodgers news and rumors all off-season long, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.